Hey guys, this summer has been scorching hot, not just in terms of weather, but also with the number of incredible game announcements. I had the chance to attend the annual Gamescom 2024 in Cologne, details in our Telegram account, and kept a close eye on the announcements from various gaming conferences. There were quite a few games that caught my attention, and in this video, I've put together a list of the top 40 most stunning games with realistic graphics that are set to release in the coming year. No More Room in Hell 2. This is the sequel to the 8-player cooperative zombie shooter. In this game, players start the round alone, gradually finding friends and trying to survive in the conditions of a zombie apocalypse. Survivors wake up in a small town and must find a way out of the infected neighborhoods. The pandemic has been raging for years, the local authorities are non-existent, and zombies block any movement through the streets. Players need to find a scientific laboratory and try to discover a life-saving vaccine for the zombie virus. The game will be released on Steam. Phantom Line. This is a 4-player cooperative shooter set in a post-apocalyptic Europe. Players will take on the role of a special forces unit that fights against paranormal phenomena. The game offers an open world filled with a variety of events. Judging by the trailer, the project incorporates horror elements and has a dark, atmospheric tone. Reanimal. A new game from the developers of Little Nightmares, Reanimal tells the eerie story of 2 orphans. The brother and sister must find their friends in trouble, rescue them, solve numerous puzzles, and find a way out of this nightmare. The cooperative gameplay allows 2 players to experience the story together, with both characters able to interact and help each other overcome obstacles. Ericshome, The Stolen Dream. An isometric adventure game set in the early 20th century. In this game, players will explore a bustling city with Hannah as she searches for her missing brother. In this world, every shadow serves as a hiding spot, and every corner holds a new challenge. Players take on the role of a girl named Hannah, who, while searching for her lost brother, inadvertently triggers a chain of tragic events. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. This is an action game from the creators of the Wolfenstein duology. The game's story kicks off in 1937, where Indiana witnesses a robbery. This event pulls our hero back into a whirlwind of dangerous adventures, including globetrotting, searching for ancient artifacts, and uncovering secrets from the past. The gameplay will blend action, stealth, and puzzle solving, perfectly capturing the essence of the original films. The developers promise that players will have some freedom in deciding how to approach different situations. Kingdom Come: Deliverance II. The sequel to the medieval RPG from Warhorse Studios looks stunning. The events of the continuation unfold in 15th century Bohemia, with the main protagonist once again being the familiar character from Skalitz. The game features a vast open world with a large city, forests, and mountains. The map is twice the size of the first game. A lengthy story with 5 hours of cutscenes, more flexible gameplay and narrative choices, and the ability to use firearms and crossbows in combat. Monster Hunter Wilds. Capcom has unveiled the first gameplay for Monster Hunter Wilds, their flagship series about hunting giant monsters. The footage showcases both monster battles and rare peaceful moments, such as sitting around a campfire and grilling meat. Continuing the traditions of the hunting and survival saga, Monster Hunter Wilds promises even more intense immersion and more spectacular encounters with even more epic monsters. Into the Dead: Our Darkest Days. A side-scroller focused on survival in shelters. In it, players will need to lead and guide a group of survivors to safety in the midst of a zombie apocalypse. The events take place in a Texas town in 1980. Players will build and fortify shelters, scavenge for supplies, craft tools and weapons, fend off zombies, and manage the needs of their group. There are no second chances, Death in the game is permanent. Clair Obscur, Expedition 33. This is a turn-based RPG set in a stylish fantasy world. The story involves leading an expedition to find and destroy a mysterious artist who kills numerous people of a certain age each year by inscribing numbers on a magical monolith. The turn-based RPG will also include real-time actions, where players will need to dodge, block, and counterattack enemy strikes themselves. The developers hope this will add more variety to the gameplay. The Relic: First Guardian. Set in a dark medieval world that has been engulfed in darkness after the destruction of a great relic, this game tasks players with gathering the scattered pieces of the artifact to seal away the unleashed evil. The combat system is timing-based, requiring players to carefully plan their attacks and time their blocks or dodges to avoid enemy strikes. Players can use various weapons and magical abilities in combat. The Precinct, an isometric action game where players take on the role of a police academy graduate. The game is set in 1983, and the main character is tasked with keeping the streets safe from gang activity. As players progress, they will patrol the streets, respond to calls, fight criminals, and participate in car chases and shootouts. One of the game's standout features is the procedural generation of crimes. The protagonist can call in patrol cars, set up spike strips, and more. Mandragora. This is a hardcore RPG action game with Metroidvania and Souls-like elements. The game is set in a world where humanity has fallen due to a monster attack, forcing people to hide. An unnamed hero embarks on a journey under the cover of night to liberate his world. As players progress, they will face battles with monsters, level up abilities and gear, choose different character classes, and switch between active skills. The game world includes dark forests, murky swamps, scorching deserts, and other intriguing locations. The Casting of Frank Stone, a narrative-driven game set in the Dead by Daylight universe. The story takes place in a grim city where Frank Stone once committed numerous heinous crimes at a steel mill. Now, his ghost haunts the city. A group of teenagers explores various locations and makes decisions that could change their future. The game is being developed by Supermassive Games, known for Until Dawn, The Quarry, and the Dark Pictures anthology. The horror game already has a Steam page. Sniper Elite: Resistance. This game offers a new story set concurrently with Sniper Elite 5. The main character, a Special Operations Executive Agent, uncovers a new and sinister Wunderwaffe, something so powerful that it could guarantee the Nazis' victory in the war. In addition to the story mode, the return of the invasion mode has been confirmed, along with multiplayer and more. The game is slated for release in 2025. The Forever Winter. This game is set in a post-apocalyptic world where humans must survive amidst giant war machines controlled by two warring superpowers. Enemies have their own objectives and strategies, operate in coordinated groups, and engage in large-scale battles. They will intelligently respond to players' actions. Survival requires stealth and cunning. Combat should be a last resort, as it often ends in failure. Phantom Blade Zero, an action game set in a universe that combines elements of fantasy, kung fu, steampunk, and the occult. The developers focus on spectacle and fast-paced combat rather than methodical and challenging gameplay. The story follows an assassin being hunted by a secret order. He has 66 days to unravel the mysteries surrounding him and clear his name before he dies. The game is filled with dynamic battles, inspired by the best traditions of Chinese action films. Perfect Dark, a reboot of the iconic shooter about secret agents, set in the near future filled with spies, new technologies, and mysteries. The main character is a female elite agent from the organization Datadyne, tasked with tracking down the world's most wanted criminal. The game emphasizes exploration and stealth infiltration into dangerous areas. However, when necessary, the protagonist can engage in close combat or open fire with a handgun. Civilization VII. Firaxis has revealed the first gameplay of the iconic turn-based strategy series. The game will feature a new narrator and the return of natural disasters. As before, players start by choosing a civilization, but when moving to a new era, they must select an additional one. Each civilization is unique to its specific period. The main change is the introduction of new time periods. There are now three: Antiquity, the Age of Exploration, and the Modern Era. Dying Light, the Beast. Techland has unveiled a 20-hour spin-off of the open-world parkour action game set in a zombie apocalypse, featuring drivable vehicles. This will be a standalone game built on the same technology as the sequel. The story takes place in an entirely new location, filled with natural landmarks, small settlements, and industrial complexes. The plot follows Kyle Crane, the protagonist of the first Dying Light, who has survived years of inhumane experiments and finally escaped to freedom. The Alters. A simple worker finds himself stranded on an uninhabited planet. With no companions to help, he begins creating alters, other versions of himself, each with its own personality and needs. Each alter is derived from the Tree of Life, which reflects key decisions that shaped the main character. The game features a variety of character variations, ranging from a scientist to a drug addict, and all personalities will interact and conflict with each other. To survive, alters must gather resources, manage daily tasks, and upgrade their base. The Spirit of the Samurai. Set in feudal Japan, this game tells the story of a battle against an army of terrifying demons, undead, and yokai. There are three main characters, each with unique attacks and combos. Each character will interact with the world in their own way. Locations include ruined villages, mountain caves, abandoned cemeteries, and more. Weapons available include a katana, spear, and bow. Mafia: The Old Country. The new installment in the Mafia series will forego a numbered title. The game is set in Sicily in the 1900s, where players will uncover the origins of organized crime. The developers promise a return to the roots of the franchise. The story spans several decades, starting just after World War I and continuing through the post-war period. Arc Raiders, a free-to-play sci-fi cooperative third-person shooter. In it, players defend Earth from extraterrestrial invaders who suddenly want to take control of the small planet. The cooperative gameplay supports 4 fighters who are attacked by various combat drones, mechanized robots, and massive artillery systems. In each mission, players complete multiple objectives, including using the technology and equipment of a lost civilization. Soulframe, another free-to-play online action game, this time from the creators of Warframe. In brief, this new project is a multiplayer action game set in a unique world. Players can expect an advanced character editor, exploration of various locations, boss battles, and different activities in the local hub. Infinity Nikki, the 5th installment in the Nikki series from Infold Games. The new game follows Nikki and Momo as they travel across different countries, encounter whimsical creatures, solve puzzles, discover secret areas, and collect magical outfits. With different clothing, the heroine gains special abilities that help her overcome challenges and access skills such as fishing, insect catching, and swimming. Ela, Brazilian studio Pulsatrix Studios, known for the survival horror game Phobia, has announced a new sci-fi horror game from a first-person perspective. The game is being developed on Unreal Engine 5. So far, a short gameplay trailer has been released, but details are scarce. The video shows the protagonist attempting to navigate through an underground area, descending into a sewer, only to encounter an unknown creature. Terminator Survivors. In this game, you play as a survivor who emerges from their shelter 4 years after Judgment Day. You must survive in an open world where Skynet machines hunt down humans. To avoid death, you'll need to explore the world, scavenge for survival resources, develop your base, and engage in battles with hostile machines. The game can be played solo or with up to 3 friends. Atomfall. Rebellion, the studio known for the Sniper Elite and Zombie Army series, is working on a new game. This will be a single-player action game with survival elements and an open world, set in post-apocalyptic England, where a nuclear disaster occurred 5 years ago. Players will need to explore locations, gather valuable loot, engage in crafting and trading, and fight against robots, cultists, and government spies. Avowed. This is a first-person fantasy RPG set in the world familiar to players from the Pillars of Eternity series. Developers promise consequences for decisions made, companions, and a wide variety of weapons. Special attention is being given to the combat system, the non-linearity of quests, and the world's reaction to the player's actions. During battles, players can combine firearms with swords, shields, and magical wands to cast spells. The First Berserker, Kazan. This is a Souls-like action RPG about a great general of the Empire who managed to overcome death itself. The main character embarks on a journey to take revenge on those who condemned him to eternal torment. Throughout the game, the character will not only fight enemies but also recover lost memories. The game features skill upgrades and the ability to use different types of weapons and equipment. Space Marine 2. In this sequel, the main protagonist once again is Captain Titus, who now faces off against a race of intergalactic predators known as the Tyranids. The hero strives to prove his loyalty to humanity and confront the horrors of the galaxy in epic battles on distant planets, holding back the advance of Eternal Night. The campaign can be played with friends or alongside AI companions. The title is set to release soon on September 9th. Doom: The Dark Ages. The game is set in the past and tells the origin story of the Doom series' main character. This time, demons have traveled to the Middle Ages, so the battles will take place in the setting of Gothic castles. The change in time period has affected the Doomslayer's arsenal. The hero now uses a shield that can be revved like a chainsaw, strikes enemies with a mace, and rides on massive wyverns. Titan Quest II. This upcoming action RPG is the sequel to the original 2006 game, where players journeyed through ancient Greece and met its mythological heroes. The gameplay focuses on completing the story campaign, exploring a mysterious world, and encountering legendary characters. Developers promise a world full of secrets and surprises, battles with giant monsters, exploration of bustling cities, and a complex combat system where enemies can combine their unique skills. The game supports co-op play for up to 4 players with several different scenarios. Stalker 2, a first-person shooter with horror elements from Ukrainian developers. The protagonist is a stalker hunting for artifacts in the radioactive Chernobyl zone. The events of the second part take place 10 years after the finale of Stalker, Call of Pripyat. The main character, a stalker nicknamed Skiff, must venture into the depths of the zone and find the heart of Chernobyl. What exactly it is remains unknown. Developers assure that this adventure may take players around 100 hours of real-time gameplay. Crimson Desert, an open-world action-adventure game from the creators of Black Desert. The game tells the story of mercenaries struggling to survive on a vast continent. Players will encounter stories of several characters whose fates intertwine with the main hero and his group of mercenaries. Each character has unique roots and backstories that influence everything from the decisions they make to the equipment they wear. This also extends to locations, which are full of other mercenary groups, each with its own interests and features. Developers promise an exciting single-player campaign rich with quests based on the feats of mercenaries. Star Wars Outlaws. This is an original open-world story set within the Star Wars timeline, taking place between episodes 6 of the movies. The main protagonist, a rogue, must survive in a harsh world while planning a grand heist. Players will explore the seedy corners of the Outer Rim, doing whatever it takes to survive, even if it means making shady deals with syndicates, committing crimes against the Empire, and betraying friends. Dune: Awakening. This is a survival MMORPG set in the Dune universe. Players will explore uncharted regions of the desert planet, gather spice, evade sandworms, and travel the world. They will also need to strengthen their influence through intrigue, diplomacy, and other means of behind-the-scenes maneuvering. The game includes many standard elements of the genre: building bases, cooperative questing, PvP battles for control of spice fields, with flight mechanics particularly standing out as especially thrilling. Black Ops 6. The next installment in the Black Ops series is set during the Gulf War of the early 90s, a time of significant global political shifts due to the end of the Cold War and the rise of the US as the world's sole superpower. The game features dynamic and varied gameplay with dramatic scenes, intense shootouts, risky heists, and covert spy operations. I hope that each of you found something here that intrigued you and made you eagerly await the release of new games. These projects promise to deliver many exciting moments and engaging stories. Until we meet again, and may your gaming adventures always be unforgettable.